All right, guys. Well, I guess we're live here, and I'm gonna see. I'm having a tough time working the camera here right now. So let's see here. I'm going to show you guys. I'm actually just gonna make my breakfast, but I just went grocery shopping, and I have had people actually asking. I'm trying to set up this tripod. People asking always like, "Oh, what did you buy at the Japanese store? Like, what kind of groceries do you buy?" And this is what I bought today. This thing's huge. A lot of greens. I saw them today because I've been wanting some, and sometimes they're kind of hard to come by. Everything sells out really fast. And they always bring fresh food. And so let's put some of this away. Natto, organic natto. I already had some, but stocking up because I'm going to make this highly nutritious smoothie today. And it's my breakfast as usual. You guys watch the channel. For people who don't know, you really need a lot of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans and all sorts of good food for your body. Japanese eat a lot of vegetables, and yes, they live a very long time. So let's go ahead and start with that. And I can move the camera out of here. That's what I bought for the groceries. Let's see what else I bought. What else did I buy? Got some more nuts. Always using a lot of those in the smoothie. Give it a good flavor, good fats. And soy milk, which is basically just from beans. And I've been using that because I'm sharing the smoothies with somebody who is iron deficient. I'm trying to get a lot of iron in these smoothies lately. And they're having difficulty with apparently the absorption of it. So, okay, let's see if we can set up this in such a way you guys can actually see. Apologize, but hey, it's live. If you guys have any questions, you're always welcome to ask. Obviously, because a lot of people, they always want to know about my protocols, but they don't understand that they're a little, I mean, they kind of differ from person to person depending on the ailment. I will say I don't give any medical advice. You know that I don't make any medical claims, that kind of thing. Okay, so that should give you a good angle to see what I'm doing here. Okay, guys, so let's start. Oh, you know what? Oh boy, I can't see your questions because I gotta flip this. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. That's gonna be much better now. Okay, my apologies there. Much better. Now I can see your guys' questions. This will be much better. So I can kind of work here on my breakfast there, and you guys can see what I'm doing and what I'm putting in there. So the first thing I'm doing is, and I already started this. I put some raw cacao. It's good for stem cells. It's good, has good iron, good nutrients, good minerals. And then I put chlorella because I don't have my purium powder right now. If you're in the US, you can buy the best stuff, which is from a website called ishoppurium.com. And if you want a big discount code, you can use the code Uprising144K. It's the same name as the channel, but since I don't have access to it, I'm putting chlorella in here right now. And the first thing I'm going to start with is the greens. And they have such beautiful produce in Japan, but it goes quick. That's what I just realized. Every time I go to the store, I've been having difficulty finding what I want to find. And then today, I woke up and I realized I didn't have the ingredients I needed to make my smoothie because I went to a hot spring trip yesterday. I like to go typically on Mondays. And so Mondays here, of course, different days and everything. But basically, I went on that trip and I forgot to go grocery shopping. Oh, wow, I got 2 of them in here. Jeez, I didn't even know. I bought a lot of these. So, you know, one thing that people don't know is much about the health of the soils of you know, where you grow your food. And the Japanese apparently know a lot about it. In fact, I've been learning while I've been here about how they treat their soil, and it's, I mean, master class. These guys are, again, they're just always so unbelievable. You know, they're so detail oriented. Obviously, I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody would appreciate having food that is grown by people who actually care. In fact, you know, there's almost nobody in the room right now, but I'm going to share something with you. That's just my opinion. And before I begin, you guys know I don't give any medical advice. I don't make any medical claims on this channel. Everything in these videos are just my opinions. But one thing I was noticing, the Japanese put so much care and love into almost everything that they do. This looks like it's got something on it. I'm just going to take it off. And obviously that goes for farming too. But what I kind of realized is that I think that has a lot to do with love. I think that when you really have a lot of love in you, you want to, everything that you do, you want to do it to your best. Whether you grow the best food, whether you make, for example, the best hydrogen machine. You guys know I'm really into that. The Japanese make clearly the best hydrogen machine. In fact, I've been seeing some interesting lab reports lately that I'll be showing in the near future. That's really wild. It's going to blow everybody's mind. And they put a lot of love and care into many things that they do in life. And I think that says a lot about, you know, the way that we act in our lives and the way the Japanese do things. And I think all cultures can learn from each other. But that's a very, very important thing. And they really care about their health. That's a big, big thing in Japan, I've noticed. People really care about their health. And I've got, if you guys haven't seen them, I just shared one of my videos where I've been going on these hot springs trips. And of course, they're really good for your health on top of everything. And relaxing and soothing. And, you know, it's just really, really great. I really enjoy living here. So this is what I bought today. And again, when they treat the soil correctly, the food is basically much more nutritious, much more nutrient dense. They even have more antioxidants. And you just get a lot more of the nutrients that you really, really need. And that's something that is sadly hard to find in other places in the world. People have actually told me. And by the way, again, you guys can ask any questions you might have. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Because sometimes people are trying to get a hold of me. And it's, you know, it's time consuming to talk. I do my best to reply to everybody. But these live videos like this is the perfect time to ask questions, and other people can hear the questions too. And then you can get ideas on different protocols and different things you can do for your health. All right, so check this out. Let's see if you guys can see this. So I'm going to I always start with my powders, and then I put in the vegetables. And why vegetables? I don't believe that most of us consume enough vegetables, so this is a really nice trick. And I mean, I like to push them down in there. Watch out for the blades, obviously. And let's see here, how much more can we fit in there? I'm going to go with a little bit more. Oh, did I use one whole head of lettuce? I guess I did. Wow. All right. It's going to be a good smoothie today. Let's go with some of the dark greens. Sometimes I'm buying stuff, but I don't even know what it is. It's just vegetables. These kind of look like spinach to me. Okay, so this is what I bought also from the grocery store. Literally just a bit ago, I could have ridden the bike. I rode the bike, but I mean, I could have ridden and taken you guys into the grocery store, but it makes it a little hard to film while you're doing that. I like to be very fast in grocery stores. I don't like to be there very long. I noticed, you know, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. You can comment, actually. I've noticed a lot of people getting sick lately. I feel like there's something going around. So I try to stay out of the public a lot. These are prunes. Again, more iron. They make it sweet too. They make it taste good. And good amount of fiber, and they help move your bowels and all that good stuff. So this is life in Japan, guys. Well, for me it is. I wish I could take you, after this I'm going to go to some hot springs. But those I can't go live, obviously. Okay, what else are we gonna do? Let's wash these guys. I'll tell you, there's like all these funny little things, like the way that they do the water in Japan, the way they treat their water, and their leaky pipes. So there's a whole statistic, this would probably kind of shock some people, that this goes for any country too. They can test how much of the water that's going through, how much actually makes it to the other side. Meaning, how many, are there a lot of leaks in the pipes? And, you know, obviously that wastes a lot of water. And the Japanese have the highest amount of efficiency. So they have the lowest amount, basically, of any water being leaking, basically. And the number's like 99 point, something crazy, like 99.8%. It's like practically perfect. And that affects the water pressure. And that's one thing that I've seen, the water pressure in Japan is crazy. If I turn this thing all the way, water starts getting everywhere. It's so strong. And it takes a little getting used to, but it's better than having low water pressure. And for those of you who want to know about my health protocols, obviously, the first thing I do is drink super clean water with the cleanest and best hydrogen, which happens to be Japanese. And that's the first thing I do to start off my day. And then this is the second thing that I do is make these smoothies. And the reason is because the Japanese basically discovered that when you eat vegetables first thing in the morning, it helps regulate blood glucose all day long, which is a very important factor as far as staying healthy. And I thought, you know, that's pretty wild. And how in the heck are you going to get vegetables in you first thing in the morning is what I was thinking. I wasn't expecting to eat vegetables first thing in the morning. I think that's enough in there. As much as I could. So I created a smoothie. And that's how I did it. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me plug in this phone. The battery, it's kind of an old phone to be honest, guys. It's not a very fancy phone. I try to live like this very simple life, basically. So I don't have a lot of fancy things. And that's because, maybe people would be more interested in this. I'm really into overcoming depression and unhappiness and sadness and having the happiest life that you could possibly have. And I've been searching for that for a very long time. And one of the things that I discovered is being healthy has a lot to do with being happy. Healthy, happy. And in order to be healthy, you gotta obviously treat your body right. And then, of course, exercise is very important. And ultimately, what I discovered is the best way to be happy are the simple things in life. I think that people think that things make you happy, right? They're like, oh, you know, a fancy car, or fancy watch, or fancy clothes, or a fancy house. And look, it's nice to have a nice house. It's nice to have, you know, a nice car. Like, those things are nice, but I don't believe that they'll truly make you happy and feed your soul. And so I'm pretty happy with just kind of basic stuff as long as the house is, you know, I don't need super fancy stuff. By the way, I'm putting ginger in there now. And I focus mostly on my health. And I mean, a lot of this came from me obviously suffering from multiple and major health problems. And that made me extremely sad. And what I would call, well, it really ruined my life, actually. I hate to admit that, but it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And now I have to find my way. And oh, this is an interesting one for those of you sticking around. Lorenzo says, seems like dates would be a safer sweetener than prunes. Yeah, you can use dates too. I add a half teaspoon of chia seeds. Well, yeah, that's another really good one. I just don't have those. If you saw some of my other videos on smoothies and when I was in the US, yes, I've had to be creative here in Japan because some of the stuff, you just have to adapt, you know, wherever you are. Now, with the chia seeds, just make sure, and you can watch my videos on how to do this. I have other videos. You want to soak them in water at least the night before because the chia seeds will actually soak up a ton of water and bring them into your system. Whereas if you just put them in dried, it won't be as good. You want to bring, one thing you're going to notice about these smoothies, and it's part of one of the secrets to health, is that the human body requires a lot of water. to function properly, especially your GI system. And by the way, this is natto. This has almost as much protein as beef, but it has so many crazy health benefits, most likely being the #1 superfood in the world. This stuff is so nuts. And yes, it has the fiber. It also has a special enzyme. They call it nattokinase or nattokinase, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Everybody's been going crazy about that lately. And you activate it by what I'm doing here. You have to stir it. And it actually gets all the bacteria activated, and they start breathing in and getting oxygenated. And this has actually been shown. There's so many studies on it. The Japanese have done so many on natto. Super good. It's a natural statin. It just kind of thins your blood out a little bit, really nicely. It seems to affect blood pressure really positively. Obviously has really, really good nutrients. And it appears to have these really powerful anti-cancer properties. And yeah, this stuff is just amazing, and massive amounts of protein. And so really, really healthy. And I put that in the smoothie, even though people think that's crazy in Japan. I thought it was kind of crazy. It's an acquired taste. So I was playing around one day thinking, hey, what if I just put it in the smoothie? And you can't even taste it in there. So, why not? It's got all those nutrients in it. This smoothie is all about trying to get a lot of nutrients. But yeah, that's a good one, Lorenzo. Okay, what's next? Let's go with, I'm gonna grab some of my frozen produce here. Oh, just realized I'm out of avocados. So I'll put a little bit of pineapple. This has another special enzyme in it that's really quite good for you. And it tastes really good in smoothies. The pineapple really helps with the flavor. And let's not put too much in there. And then I always like the dark berries. That would be blueberries. Let's put some of those in there, if I can find them. It's funny, I feel like I find a lot more stuff in the US. It probably depends on the state you're in too, though. But in Japan, I find stuff I think that's more densely nutritious. So it just kind of depends, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's, just having a little fun. This is what I call, this is life for me. I think it would be very, very difficult for people to probably make it in Japan. It's very hard, especially with the language and the writing. But I am impressed, and I love to learn from everybody, every culture, every person. And there's a lot to learn here, I'll tell you that much. Very deep people, very serious sometimes too, actually. I mean, they know how to laugh, but I mean, they take things very seriously. And this is a cucumber. Everything in here has a lot of water and a lot of fiber, a lot of minerals, a lot of antioxidants. You'd be really surprised. Here's a weird one. A lot of people don't know how much fiber the human body actually truly needs, which is not the number we are told by certain institutions. The research that was conducted, and the Japanese have been making these very interesting discoveries about fiber and the effects on the human body, which is uncovered certain parts of the human body that we didn't even know existed before. It's really kind of wild. And I definitely realized I wasn't consuming enough fiber. And fiber has so many functions, but specifically a big one. Yes, it moves your bowels, really good for detoxing, lots of really positive things. But nutrient absorption and regulation of blood glucose are really, really top of the list. You combine that with hydrogen, which I've been doing, and the blood work that I've had, because I get blood work regularly to make sure my methods are working. And I mean, I had a doctor call me, which is unusual, and because they only call you when there's a problem. And she was telling me, she goes, I've been doing blood analysis for over 3 decades. She said, I've never seen blood like yours. She said, it's unbelievable. And she called because she said, I'd like to know what you're doing. She said, because my blood doesn't look like that. She's had family members that she's concerned about who she can't get their blood to look better. And then she saw mine and she's like, how are you doing this? She goes, this is crazy. How are you accomplishing it? And of course, I had to, when I finally told her that it was, clean water, I put hydrogen in it, and I make these smoothies, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Beyond that, just eating, you know, a pretty healthy diet. And she was just blown away. And when she found out the foods, there's certain foods that I do avoid, and she couldn't believe it. Now, I'm not against the foods. Like, I'm not against meat, but I don't eat meat for numerous reasons, mostly spiritual ones. I don't judge, you know, if people want to eat it, it's fine. But there's some very interesting data about it. I know that it's densely nutritious, so I'm not saying there's no nutrients in it. And again, I don't judge, you know, anybody who does it. But when you're trying to do the things that I'm doing, because, you know, I'm here meditating, I'm here trying to advance myself in other ways, and, you know, things with hormone disrupt the mind. You should see some of the brain scans. It's really actually pretty interesting how it affects you. But it's all good, you know. Not everybody's trying to do what I do, and that's okay. It's okay. You know, people don't need to get upset. Some people do, though. There's a lot of judgment in regards to that, but I don't know why people can't just respect, you know, respect how other people choose to live their lives, right? We all need, I feel like that's the thing in America right now. I feel like there's just got to be more love. There's so much hate. You know, it's funny when people are asked, like, oh, who are you going to vote for? And they're like, the one that I hate the least, or whatever. You know, the response usually has to do more with hate than it does with love. And I think that's too bad, personally. But, you know, me, I just separate myself a little bit from the world these days. That's why I'm obviously here. And I'm just living my best life. And I have discovered a lot of things about health, and it's impacted a lot of people, actually, which I'm surprised. I never thought in a million years that I would be a guy who knows a lot about health. Now, check this out. I'm soaked these. This is kind of what you would do with the chia seeds, Lorenzo. These are nuts here, and they're dry. And so what you do is you soak them in water, and they'll soak up a bunch of the water. And then you put those in the smoothie. And then any type of, like, toxic stuff that's on a lot of nuts and seeds, it'll remove that on the layer by soaking them in water. And they just make the smoothie that much healthier. But you need these fats. You need these good, healthy fats. And I know that for sure. And that's why I tend to get a lot of them, again, from nuts and seeds, mushrooms, avocados. I'll have eggs once in a while, stuff like that, but not very often. It also depends on how the chickens are raised. I just went to a farm recently. It was unbelievable, truly unbelievable. The way that the Japanese were treating the chickens, it was almost like a experimental farm, by the way. And the experiment was they were trying to treat them amazingly well and make them the healthiest chickens possible. And it was, honestly, it was unreal. It was almost hard to believe what they were doing with chickens. And I thought it was beautiful, though. I think we should treat life like that. Everything with a lot of love, you know? That's my opinion. And that's something that I like that the Japanese do. There's a lot of respect and love towards the land, the farming, the animals. And yes, you eventually eat them. You know, people eat the chickens or eat the cows or whatever, but they taste a lot better. And hopefully the animals are happier while they're alive. You know, that kind of thing. Okay. So now, this is going to be a little different because I'm making this for somebody who has an iron deficiency, which is why this is specific ingredients today. So let's make this hydrogen smoothie here a little different than your normal smoothie. I'm going to put a little bit of this special bean milk, high in iron. I'm going to put some of that in there. And it makes it taste kind of rich and creamy again. That should be, let's see. That should be good. Okay. Next ingredient, we're going to want some hydrogen water, which, let's see if I can reach it here. There we are. This really transforms my smoothies too. I mean, I drink this stuff, which is better than putting it in a smoothie, but the reason I put in the smoothie, for one, I have it. I have a bunch of hydrogen water, might as well. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep it here for a second, because the hydrogen absorbs, or I'll just say appears, because I saw this on a study in Japan, it appears to absorb into the food and actually enhances the properties of the food, which is just insane. I would have never guessed that in a million years. And grab my cup. Okay, let's blend her up. Do you think it's gonna blend? Some people might think it would just get stuck. Yeah, that looked like it struggled a little. Looking good so far, though. Try this, and maybe I'll throw in a little bit more stuff in there depending, but let's just try the flavor, because sometimes it needs an extra banana or something. So let's just check it out today. That came out pretty good. Quite good. I don't have any complaints, but I will say this banana's churning, so I think I am going to use it because I don't want it to go bad. So let's use an extra banana. There we go. And then I was going to add another carrot, but I think I put too many greens today. I didn't have enough room. So we'll put that away. And then let's put a little more hydrogen water in there. There's more room. And well, that's my breakfast. Like I said, guys, I'm almost done with this video, so if you have any last questions, nobody really had any today, so, which is totally fine. And here we go. Blend this. All right, there we go. And that is breakfast. A lot of fiber, a lot of antioxidants, a lot of minerals. I was telling you about the fiber, how much fiber the human body needs. I didn't finish that, I guess. Let me just say that it requires a massive amount of fiber. The number that we are given, at least in the US, is actually a number that is deemed the lowest amount that the human body needs. That is literally the number they tell you that you should have on a daily intake, because they literally thought that it was impossible to have the proper amount of fiber that the body really needs. It's just they don't think anybody would achieve it. Guess anybody, let's see, there's only 7 people in here. Guess what percentage of people meet the minimum amount of fiber that is required by the human body daily in the United States? Anybody? Last report I saw was about 3% of people are getting the minimum they need. One thing I have noticed in Japan is they really consume a lot of fiber. Maybe that's another part of their life expectancy, because they live so much longer here. Very healthy people. For the most part. There's always going to be some unhealthy people in every culture and vice versa. But their culture, they just consume a lot of vegetables, definitely some fruit, a lot of pickled, like a lot of fermented food, stuff like that. Okay, guys, well, let's see. Lorenzo said something. Let's see. He said, then add 2 more cups of distilled water and 2 tablespoons of vanilla blend for a few more seconds. And then I freeze it for ice cream cube trays. There you go. Getting creative with the healthy food. That's what I think we got to do. We should just be getting more creative. That's a good one. Vanilla is a good one. Okay. That banana definitely helped. Wow. That's really tasty. Okay, guys. That was it. I don't think I need to. I don't see too many questions, so I don't think I need to keep the video going. Hope you guys found it informative, and I'll see you guys next time on the next one.